We're going to have Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas Devarim, Erev Shabbos, Shabbos Chazon. You know, this week has a special name, Shabbos Chazon, Shabbos of Vision, because of the Haftorah. Next week also has a special name called Shabbos Nachamu. Next week's name I can understand. It's the Shabbos of comfort. It's the Shabbos after Tisha B'Av. It's the Shabbos that we build ourselves both through the Parsha and through the Haftorah. But this Shabbos, Shabbos Chazon, it's just the opening lines of the Haftorah. What's the Chazon? What's the vision? Why is that the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av? So Nesiv Shalom says something very beautiful. He says that the word Chazon, the concept of vision, of a vision for the future, and the idea, one of the ideas that the Haftorah teaches, is the most important principle to be able to endure Golus. The Pasuk in the Haftorah says, Banim gidalti v'reimamti. I raised my children, v'him pashubi, and they rebelled against me. What an unbelievably painful Pasuk. But listen carefully. What does God call the ones who rebelled against him? Banim gidalti v'reimamti. You're my children. And then no matter what you've done, you're still my children. And that there is still a hope for you and that there's still a future for you. You just keep pining away for that moment. You keep living for that moment. You keep looking towards that moment of when you can once again become my children, when you can once again feel the love of a father to his child. And you'll be fine. And when do we feel that love the most? When do we feel that hope for the future the most? That's on Shabbos. Because on Shabbos we experience that sense of being God's children, of what was and what will be. Zecher liyetzias Mitzrayim, a remembrance for what it was when we came out of Egypt, and a remembrance for what it's going to be in Yom Shekulo Shabbos, in a day that's going to be completely Shabbos, in the time of Olam Haba, in the time of the world to come. But why exactly do we feel that on Shabbos? You know, we sing Friday night in L'Chadodi, Mikdash Melech Yir Melucha. We talk about the Beis HaMikdash. It's the city of kings and of God's kingdom. Get out of the dumps. You've sat long enough in the valley of tears. It's time now. He's nari kumi. Get up from the ground. Get up from the dirt. Live she big day sifatechami. My nation, wear your beautiful clothing. Through the Ben Yishai, that's when we're going to be rebuilt and relifted. And we'll bring ourselves to the Geula. And this is what we sing in the beginning of Shabbos. But you have to wonder, why are we remembering the destruction of the temple every Shabbos? There's no Avelus on Shabbos. There's no mourning on Shabbos. Why are we remembering this? The Mishnah in Saita says that the world is gradually declining on a daily basis. But on what merit does the world continue? On the merit of Amen Yehishmei Rabba, when we say Amen Yehishmei Rabba Mevarach Li'olam Lo Me'amayim, may God's great name be made great forever and ever. And Kedusha de Sidra, when we recite Uval Etzion towards the end of davening. Those are the two things that keep the world going. And you have to wonder, what's the power of those two things? And we say that since the Churban, the world has no intrinsic right to exist. Its continued existence is only in the merit of the tzipiyah, of the waiting, of the hoping for tomorrow, of the looking towards what could be, what's going to be, of waiting and pining away for that day, for that moment. When it becomes apparent to everyone what God knew all along, that banim gidalti v'remamti, that you are my beloved children. And that when we wait for that moment, when the name of Hashem is going to be sanctified for all to see, the more we wait for it, then the more today has meaning. Because in the darkness, the blackness, the difficulty of today, if I can look out and say, but it's going to be something amazing tomorrow, if I can be mitzapel Yeshua, if I can wait and pine away for that moment of salvation, if I have the vision to be able to see and to realize that all the suffering is a loving Father trying to shape and to raise his children, so that I can endure all the pain. That's what the Shabbos is. The Shabbos is a Shabbos where it's the darkest. It's the darkest in the historical context. It's right before Tisha B'Av. We're meatless, we're musicless, we're weddingless, we're steeped in doom and gloom. We're living every day in our present context of waiting for that boot to drop, of what's going to happen to us. And it's dafka when we walk into Shabbos, Yom Shekula Shabbos, Mein Olam Haba, the taste of the world to come, that we look to the future. And that we look towards that geula, towards that redemption, and we're reminded, Bonim Atem, that you're my children. You don't have to worry so much, because the Father loves his children. And in the end, he's going to save them and bring them a geula. It doesn't mean that the path is not fraught with danger. And it doesn't mean that the path is not filled with pain. But in the future, the goal is to reunite us. And I believe that, I trust in that. I feel that. And it's this Shabbos, the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av, that I have the ability to be able to see the Chazon, the vision, to open my eyes and to realize, Banim gidalti v'remamti. Notwithstanding the fact that they rebelled and they sinned, but they're banim, they're my children. And we have the ability this Shabbos to be able to feel that love and to look forward, because that is what gives us the strength to make it through. To make it through the worry, to make it through the uncertainty, to make it through the rhetoric, to make it through the hatred. The world is turning against us. But I've got the Tata. I've got my Father on my side. And he promised me, you are my children. And this Shabbos, we climb up on the Tata's lap. And we sit in his embrace. And as we say Kiddush, and as we sing L'Chadaydi, and as we sing Shabbos Miras, we're transported to that place and reminded, this is where you're going to. We're transported to that place, Me'ein Olam Haba, the taste of the world to come. And we're able to see and to feel that vision. And that gives me the strength to endure the gullus and to endure the darkness and to pine away for that beautiful, special, precious moment when once again we're reminded that we are not orphans. We have a Father in heaven who loves his people and will never forsake them. We should have the most incredible and beautiful Shabbos. We should feel that Kedusha and be zocher to have the Chazon, the vision, so that we can feel God's love not only in the future, but feel God's love for his people even now, in our very lives and existence. Have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing Shabbos.